Extra. The event center here, wonderful place with passionate fans in Shelton, Washington. Tonight they're going to see light heavyweights in our main event. Thomas Williams, he's 15-0, 10 knockouts, a recent win in his first scheduled 10-rounder. He's going to move up to main event status against 21-2 Cornelius White. But we're going to waste no time in getting you right to action. Our co-feature set to go, 10 rounds, featherweights. Former titleist Rico Ramos takes on this man, Jonathan Arellano, 26-year-old from Southern California, checks in at 5'6", 125.8. He's 1-2-1 his last 4 bouts. Facing off with Rico Ramos, a 26-year-old former WBA Super Bantamweight titleist. He would lose that title in his first attempt at a defense. He was KO'd by Guillermo Rigondeaux. That happened in the 6th round. Now Ramos, 3-3 in his last 6. The combined record of his opponents, 101 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. Mostly a counterpuncher, but let's remind you, he is capable of showing off one-punch power. We take you back to that title shot, July 2011, against Akumi Shimoto, and you see the hook, the one-punch power of Rico Ramos, the 26-year-old in action tonight. So featherweights will get us started. Time to see what these fighters need to do to look like a champ. Brought to you by Just for Men. Teddy.
Well, let's start with the former champion Ramos. Your trainer said you wanted to get inside. Well, prove it. And work the left hook to the body when you get there. And for Arellano, well, when he goes into his shell, you must work. And the body would be a good idea for you to go to also.
Got Bobby Howard as a referee.
Receive your instructions, you just even know what I expect. A good, clean fight. We talked about honor. Fight that way. Shake them up and get it on. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks, he says, Teddy. Go Hawks, says Bobby Howard here in front of the home crowd with a Super Bowl coming up next weekend.
Yeah, well, he knows where he is, and he's looking to grab a little attention on national television, so he just did.
We are in Shelton, Washington. It's just about an hour drive around the water from Seattle, and everywhere you go, you see Seahawks jerseys in this area. As Friday Night Fights is glad to be back here again. Good, passionate fans here as we get the night started with Arellano and Ramos.
Ramos has lost 2 of his last 3 and 3 of his last 5. Along the way,
Fight clean, fight out of it, guys. Box out of it.
He lost his confidence. He needs to find it. Tonight would be a good time to find it.
Good opponent to find it against?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, unless you're going down, really down to the barrel and, you know, drop it down the ladder of boxing talent. But I would say so. Arellano also has only 1 win in his last 4 fights, and that win was close, a majority decision. So it should be an interesting match, maybe a chess match. I hope not. If it is, I hope at least aggressive chess. But both these guys' temperaments are to counter. Be careful. Be cautious.
The first glimpse of an attempt from Ramos.
Box out.
Ramos has been on the floor in his last 2 fights, Joe. And the reason why I say maybe Arellano is the right opponent when you ask me that question is because Arellano has been on the floor in 3 of his last 4 fights. So a good chance we see someone visit the canvas tonight, but they have maybe the glass in their jaws and maybe the power in their fists to do that. But
push on his neck.
do they have the ambition to throw the punches to do it? That's the question.
Box clean, guys.
A moment you referenced with Ramos of getting up off the canvas, that was another come-from-behind one-punch win against the former Puerto Rican Olympian Carlos Velasquez.
Another reason why when you ask me the question is Arellano the right guy for Ramos to get his confidence with? Well, I look at his record, and Arellano had a draw early in his career with an 0-2-1 fighter. So we'll see if Arellano is the right guy for Ramos. Again, it's about temperaments. Everyone said styles and physical talent, you know, skill sets. But to me, it's always about what's inside you, inside your mind, your temperament, your disposition. Both these guys are careful.
Arellano tried to come forward with that right hand behind the jab. There's that lead hook from Rico Ramos, the former titleist. Remember, you can go to Facebook to judge the round all night long. Log on to the Friday Night Fights Facebook page. We got light heavyweights coming up in our main event. Undefeated Thomas Williams Jr., plus plenty from the Friday Night Fights studio. And Todd Grisham. Good evening, Todd.
Six out.
Nice to be back, Todd.
Keep it clean.
Look forward
Good
to
job,
hearing
man.
what Todd has to say with Teddy and Nigel. He mentions Nigel. By the way, fans, if you're scoring along at home on Facebook, open up another window and go on Twitter and follow Nigel Collins, because when he tweets alongside Friday Night Fights, you get great insight, good perspective, wonderful links. A must follow if you're a boxing fan. Friday Night Fights with
Hold on
Nigel.
to the far side. Let go of the arm.
What might be a smart, I don't know if it's a follow, but suggestion for Arellano would be, if you're going to throw anything, throw it to the body of Ramos. You know, he's been on the floor a couple times in his career from body shots. These are the things you need to know. Preparation. You know, you got next week the Super Bowl. Both those teams are going to be scouting, and they've scouted, and they're going to be prepared. They know the tendencies of each other. They don't go in there blind. It should be no different in anything you approach professionally and in this sport. Arellano, if I have that information, his people should have that information. And it should be put in there, into a game plan.
Super Bowl in your backyard, Teddy.
Yes, it is.
Who would have thought that?
Don't hold, guys. Both of you. Box out.
Yes, sir.
And the Seahawk chant continues here at the Little Creek Casino Resort in Shelton, Washington. They did it in the first round. Here they are again. Times are good to be a local fan. They got live boxing here, and they got the Seahawks in the big one.
Well, not much to cheer for in the ring. So why not for the Seahawks?
Watch your heads coming in.
Unfortunately, they're looking like the Seahawks. Very defensive-minded.
That's right. We've seen plenty of this through the years with Ramos, but we've also seen those one single moments of brilliance when he throws that punch right there, the left hook.
And listen, you know, it's the temperament. I'm going to say it again because the urgency has to be there. It's a crossroads fight, Joe, for both 26-year-olds who want to stop the downward spiral that I described before of their recent path, of what they've been doing. They don't want to continue down that road to becoming irrelevant, or in other words, an opponent.
Good work now by Ramos as he gets Arellano into the corner. Landed two good punches, and there's an uppercut now by Arellano as he tried to turn things around in this last minute of round two.
And he literally turned things around. He switched places. Smart move, got off the ropes, made a little spin, and turned Ramos onto the ropes. And again, you see a little bit of the desperation, the urgency showing itself right now, and it should show itself because the loser, as I said before, he becomes an opponent. Both these guys can put the other guy down. We talked about that before.
Good action to close out round number two between our featherweights here. We got light heavyweights coming up in the main event. Cornelius White against the 15-0 Thomas Williams Jr. Through all the years, I always say this to you, when we get a fight like this, a 15-0 guy who's yet to take a real big test up. What do we have in front of us with Thomas Williams Jr.?
Well, with Thomas Williams Jr., first of all, we have it in his blood. Have a tendency sometimes of landing against southpaws. So I give an edge to Williams, but interesting.
That's coming up in the main event. Thomas Williams Jr., 15-0, 10 knockouts. He's been active in recent years. He's coming off his first scheduled 10-rounder, and he will be going up against Cornelius White in the main event. Round number 3 here in our co-feature. Good second round we saw between these two.
Break clean. Very good, very good. Watch your heads, guys. Careful. Let go, let go.
You touched on it earlier, Joe. He's hoping he's not in that position again. But Ramos, his last fight, it was going into the L column until very late in the fight. Big come from behind win, KO win for Ramos in the 10th round. 4.5 months ago.
Down behind him on the neck. Don't shove down. Don't shove down.
It's the left hook that scored for him then. See if he can draw Ariano in here. And they tie up when he does.
Come on.
You wonder why the pace of Ariano is slow. Again, it's their temperaments, but maybe something else. Maybe something else lingering in those dark corners of the mind. He's never been past 8 rounds. So you always wonder with a guy who's stepping up with somebody more experienced, and he's never been the distance. You wonder if he's, well, if he's pacing himself, or if he's worried about getting into the late rounds, and maybe even subconsciously he's holding back a little.
His last 5 fights have gone the exact scheduled 8. And he's 2-2-1 over the course of those 5.
This is the kind of fight where obviously not a lot of going on. If somebody uses the jab in the center of the ring there, where sometimes there's a stalemate, somebody uses that jab and controls that center of the ring, that somebody can grab rounds.
Box out of it, guys.
Neither guy willing to really work out of this situation on the inside, as you see that left arm of Ramos put behind Ariano.
See, those are the 2 things in this kind of fight that's not scintillating. Not a lot to separate guys. Nobody taking command. Who jabs on the outside can have the lead, and who makes himself work inside and not tie up on the inside.
Stop. Clean. Come on, guys.
When it came out, it was listed as one of the top new golf courses in the entire country. They do a magnificent job here, led by their CEO, Michael Starr. Glad he's hosting us again here in Shelton.
Yeah, Michael Starr goes out of his way to have all his people really make us feel very comfortable, very much at home.
And for fans on the East Coast watching us right now, look at this event center and a crowd that's here at 6 in the afternoon local time to show up and watch a fight night like this. Good fans here packing a nice size arena to come out early, 6 o'clock on a Friday night.
Time in. Box.
Ramos he's been cut by head clashes in 2 fights in his career. You can see he falls in with that head once in a while.
Let go of the arm. Let go.
You know, you talked about his best punch, obviously, for Ramos. The one that won him the title, the one that pulled him from behind in his last fight, the left hook. Well, there's a reason for it. You know, he's naturally lefty, but he's fighting out of the orthodox stance. So his power is in that lead hand, the left hook hand.
Oh, how about that?
And there it is.
And he just stands and looks over him like prey that's been hunted down as he scores the knockdown.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Walk to me strong. Walk to me.
Would you like to remind us one more time what his best punch is, Teddy?
I think the point well taken. But here's the problem. Not a finisher. Not a go-get-your guy after he hurts you.
Look at the
Matter of fact,
temperament.
now he's retreating.
he goes into a counter punch stance and disposition for a moment after scoring the knockdown.
And that's exactly why Ramos has lost 3 of his last 5, 2 of his last 3. Because he doesn't have that fire burning.
Let go, box out of it.
Does have the power in the left hook, but not the fire in him. Not the logs on that fire to really get the blaze going.
More willingness to infight here between these two in round 4. You saw Ariano fire off the uppercut and Ramos return with one of his own.
Now don't forget now, Ramos, he's been on the floor. We talked about it. On the floor his last 2 fights. There's still hope for Arellano. Hope that's being given to him as we speak by Ramos slowing the pace.
Step back when I say that.
Ramos taking a pit stop when he's in the Indy 500, 20 laps ahead. Go figure.
Touched him with that left hand to the body moments ago. Caught a little bit of the right elbow of Ariano. There's another hook and another knockdown. How about that? 2 for 2.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Very good. I'm good.
Big 4th round for the former titleist.
Deep breath. Hey, spit. Hey, listen. Take a look at the first knockdown. You know it's a left hook, and there it is, real quick, little bit Cobra-like. Comes right out. Again, he gets close. He inches his way to the doorsteps and smashes through the door. Inches his way close. Nothing fancy. Puts his shoulder behind it. Gets that power. And there's a look at the second knockdown. Not much different. Again, gets in there into range, takes a little jump at him. Arellano's vision not real good, and he cooperates. He drops his right hand. Just as that left hook is coming at Arellano, what does he do? He drops his right hand. Why? Well, maybe the brain signal was already there that he was going to throw a right hand. Who knows? You know, we talked about a knockout with Barthélemy and Mendez, and people talked about the referee wasn't in place and that the punches came right after the bell, but the signal was sent already from the brain to Barthélemy's arms to let those punches go. Well, maybe the signal there, even though it was a bad signal, was sent to Arellano. You know, get that right hand, get ready to start throwing it. He starts to drop it, and he does see that Ramos is coming with the left hook. Because how else do you explain the right hand dropping to leave a welcome mat for that left hook by Ramos?
He crashed through the door that that welcome mat led to.
Don't hold, let go. Give yourself some room and box out of it. No backhand.
There he tried to fire off with a lead left hook again, now tied up on the inside.
Break. You're holding that arm and punching. Don't do that again.
A warning from Bobby Howard of holding onto that arm to Ariano.
Get very infrequent jabs.
Box out of it. Let go of the arm.
Anybody jabs in this fight,
Break.
easy way to get ahead in rounds.
So infrequent that moments ago when Ramos jabbed with even limited success, it gets your attention.
You're right.
Break. Come on, guys. Clean it
It
up.
just hasn't been the form of this fight.
Again, it's all about temperament. It's all about what your makeup is, what your psychological makeup is. Ramos
Box out of it.
just had a fight on the floor twice in the last round, but still, a cautiousness to him. People wonder why? Because that's what he is.
That's who he's always been. Former WBA super bantamweight titleist Rico Ramos. Light heavyweights will be coming up in our main event. Thomas Williams Jr. is undefeated at 15-0. We will see what he offers up against the 21-win veteran Cornelius White. Of course, we invite you to go to Facebook as he invites him to the canvas. Again, third knockdown of the night, scored by Ramos.
5, 6, 7, 8. Watch him be strong. You want to keep going?
And the same kind of punch. Left hook and a little jump with that left hook.
Stop at the bell. Stop. Done.
3 hooks. That's a good shot.
Take a look at the knockdown, the last round, slow-mo. Look, the right hand again goes away. I mean, a lot of people, and I don't blame you, at home are saying, what is going on? A left hook's coming, and Ramos is just opening the door and welcoming, or Arellano, I should say, welcoming that left hook. Again, little short circuit going on in the mind of Arellano. He's not seeing things well. He's not looking at what he needs to look at, obviously, at Ramos, at the shoulders, at the arm area, at what's coming at him. He's got one thing in mind, or something else is coming.
Box out of it, box out of it.
I'm sure Henry Ramirez, his trainer, feels the same way. And he catches him for a moment here and backs him up. Ramos doesn't look steady now all of a sudden here, with still 2:11 to go in the 6th.
Box out of it, guys.
Part of that was a little bit of a touching with the feet.
Break clean, break
clean. A little
clean.
tripping with the feet there.
That was awkward balance he showed. Let's see if he has gathered himself here.
Don't hold, Rico. Let go. Let go. Boxer, both of you. Step back and box. There you go.
Ramos always gives you a chance to have hope, to come back. Again, because it's a very careful, cautious
break clean.
attitude that Ramos works with.
Stay off his neck, Rico. Stay off his neck.
You can make an argument that if Arellano used his jab tonight, Joe, every round except the rounds that he got dropped, he could win just by jabbing. You have a chance to win a round.
No doubt about it. It's there for the taking. Simple work would get it done.
Don't be spinning. I saw that. Don't be spinning.
Guess what? Maybe if you're jabbing, because the jab you think of offensive, you know, it's scoring points, but it's also a defensive tool.
Fight out of it.
If you're using the jab, maybe those left hooks that came, maybe they never come.
Step back and box.
Maybe Ramos was kept busy with the jab and not throwing the hook.
But break.
You know, Adrian Broner, he lost his fight to Maldonado, his first loss. Wasn't busy enough. A lot of fights, a lot of the opposition he was fighting, he was allowed to get away with that. Allowed to pick his spots, pick the pace up when he wanted to. But against Maldonado, he opened the door to be kept defensive, to be jumped on, because of the habit he had formed by not being busy enough. You're not being busy enough, sometimes you allow guys to walk right into that front door. Looks like Arellano now starting to walk into that front door a little bit.
Finish at the bell. Step back and box. There you go.
Take a short break and be right back. End of 6.
You know, sometimes you don't notice these things during the course of a fight, but we have replay for them. Look at that. A sneaky left hook in between a long left uppercut of Ramos. Arellano threw that left hook. He got in that front door that's left open by Ramos, and he snuck a nice little short left hook in between a wide uppercut of Ramos. There's still hope for Arellano.
Be interesting to see if more of those opportunities arise here as we have 4 rounds to go in our co-feature.
Joe, they're going to arise because of what we've been talking about from the beginning. That Ramos allows you to get back into fights. Yeah, he has power. Yeah, he can put you on the floor. But he doesn't go after you. He doesn't finish you. He doesn't close the show. And because of that, he allows hope. Hope for Arellano. Because of that left hook in the last round, I give the first round of the night to Arellano.
Of course, 4th round had 2 knockdowns in it. You scored it a 10-8 round. 5th round had the 1 left hook at the end of the round, so that's a 10-8 round there. And then the first round going for Arellano. Facebook, we invite you to join in at any point throughout the night. You can go to the Friday Night Fight Facebook page and join in. And you, the viewer at home, has it the same way as Teddy there. 5 rounds to 1 for the former belt holder.
Very good. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. It's flying both ways.
Again, somebody uses the jab when there's that separation.
Flying both ways.
They grabbed that section of the round, and that was Ramos grabbing it. You know, as much as we're, I don't know if we're impressed, but, you know, we're shouting
box out of it, guys.
the
Box out
result
of it. Neither one of these hold. Box
of Ramos jumping in with those left hooks. You know, he landed a few of them tonight and got his man on the floor. But they're dangerous. There's opportunities. As much as there's been an opportunity, obviously, Joe, for him to land, there's opportunities when he jumps in for Arellano to land the right hand.
He had one moments ago.
Catch him coming in.
When he jumped in, could have caught him coming in. He didn't pull the trigger on it. Now a little infighting from Ramos.
You know, we're just looking at it as a good thing. It can be a very bad thing.
No, it's risk reward, the lead hook.
Very risky. But not so risky when you have a guy in front of you just looking at you and dropping his right hand as you come at him. You know, again.
No, that's inviting.
You got to have concentration in there, and you have to have good eyes. You hear me say that sometimes? Guy has good eyes. Mayweather, beautiful eyes, great vision. There's something to be said about that you recognize things. Arellano has not recognized things, but right now he's recognizing that he's being allowed to work by Ramos going into his shell.
Arellano landed 2 right uppercuts and even turned over a right hand around that left guard for a moment here in the final half minute of round 7. So he's putting together a few decent rounds, trying to gather some momentum here in the second half of this fight after he was floored 3 times in the first half of the fight. Let's check in with Bernardo Osuna.
Thank you, Joe. Cornelius White got a late start in boxing, debuting at age 37. And
was to take that O. Going up against a young lion, he says. Doesn't want to lose that O. His job is to take it. We'll see if he can take it in the main event. Round number 8 now of our co-feature. Been an interesting one. Ramos and Arellano. Ramos was in complete control. 3 knockdowns scored by the end of the 5th round.
Box out of it. Box out of it.
We said early on, the beginning of this fight will be interesting.
Give yourself some room, guys.
And as you said, it has been.
Hold and hit.
For different reasons.
Break. No more wrestling. Don't flip around like that.
Interesting to try to figure out why Arellano doesn't see left hooks coming at him. Like that one, although that wasn't an explosive one. Interesting to see how Ramos, even though he's got the lead, will be willing to seemingly give up the lead.
No reason to hold. Box out of it.
Arellano's been allowed to get on the inside. He's there. He needs to keep his hands free, rotate his shoulders a little bit, and work. And not leave his head in the middle where he's susceptible to uppercuts.
Like that right there.
Yes, that uppercut is there for Ramos.
Caution on the head. Next time was warning.
Because Arellano leaves his head right stationary in the middle instead of getting it on the side. But if I was in the corner, Arellano would say, look, you're getting inside, go to the body of Ramos. Again, I said it early. Ramos has been on the floor a couple of times from body shots.
see some swelling on the right side of the face of
Watch your heads.
Arellano,
Watch
obviously
your heads.
the target of those left hands
Box
from
out of it. You're
Ramos.
laying in there.
There he opens up and tried to turn over a left hook of his own.
And he got an opening, he got an opportunity for that left hook because Ramos was throwing a right uppercut, left himself a little open. You throw an uppercut, it's dangerous, unless you dip your shoulder and you don't give up defense. But if you drop your hand a little for the uppercut, somebody could beat you to it. In that case, Arellano looking to beat him with that left hook. You're not supposed to give up defense for offense in this game. And sometimes with certain punches,
You're laying in there.
you do that, or fighters do that. And there's lots of fighters that make a living by taking advantage of that.
Coming to the end of 8. Go over to Facebook, go to the Friday Night Fight page, join in the scoring, folks.
Don't push down on the neck.
Listen, once you get there, you gotta quit wrestling, son. Let their hands go. Give me some explosive combinations. You got 2 rounds. Listen, you're getting inside easier, but you gotta work once you're there. All right?
Yes.
You got 2 rounds, score knockout. We're behind. All right? Keep pounding away at the body, come back up on top, all right? Keep
Just
letting
remind
your
me
hands
when we're
go.
doing it.
Deep breath. Deep breath. Keep that right hand high, though. Okay? That's all I want you to do. Good. You give me 2 more rounds. Give me 2 more rounds. Give me 2 more rounds. We got 2 rounds left. We got to hold
What's
back
that?
for. 2 rounds left.
Keep it real clean,
Jonathan
guys.
Arellano, 26-year-old, based out of Southern California. Give him credit for staying the course here after being dropped twice in the 4th and once at the end of the 5th, as we start round number 9 scheduled for 10.
Box out of it. Box out of it. Let go of the arm. There you go. Good job that time, guys. Box, box, box.
Again, no jabs. Well, as I say it, Ramos makes me a liar, and he uses his jab. But the point I'm making is plenty of opportunities to dominate when both guys opposing in front.
Stop!
With
Get out
that little
clean.
separation between them.
Stop! Same thing. Break it up clean. There you go. Don't hold the arm. Box out of it.
You're lacking a
Box out
little
of it.
bit of discipline,
Break.
control, maybe confidence.
Box out of it.
Although Ramos' confidence should have grown as this fight went on. Sometimes you fall in, Joe. Sometimes you throw a punch instead of staying together, instead of staying a little bit in position.
Don't
you do
hold it.
that.
Go. Let
you
go.
fall
Let
in.
go.
And that's lack of confidence,
There
of
you
course,
go.
lack of discipline. You could say lack of balance, technique, but lack of confidence because you're not sure of yourself. So you're more sure of falling in and smothering the other guy than staying in position to do
It's
something.
the easier answer.
Yes. See again, an easy answer.
Break.
For
Break.
Ramos, if he had more control, more confidence, he would go in there, keep a little separation, and look to do work, not just fall in and hope that he's safe.
Break.
And you see a lot of it this round, what I'm describing from Ramos. And a lot of lost opportunities because of it when he does get inside. Because his mind is on smothering, surviving, just falling in close, not on doing work and finding something when he gets in close. And of course you could knock Arellano too. He gets inside, he's not moving his hands enough. He's got plenty of opportunities with Ramos looking to smother him, where Arellano could take the lead inside.
1 round to go when we return here on Friday Night Fights.
You still look pretty. Look at you. All right. You know what I mean? Just take the time, work those hands, let that right go. Okay. Give me a gift. Okay. Let that right go. Okay? All right. Last round? Last round, baby.
This is the 10th and final round.
Usually when a fighter scores 2 knockdowns in a single round and it's the 4th round, the analyst doesn't say, you know, he's not much of a finisher. And we could still see a lot of opportunity for the opponent in this go the distance, but then again, you're not the typical analyst. Here we are in the 10th round. And he scored another knockdown after you made that statement, and we're in the 10th round, Teddy.
Yeah, well, you got to know what you're watching. And you got to recognize, not just somebody in trunks, and somebody with muscles, and somebody maybe with speed and maybe not with speed. But you got to recognize what they are.
Hey, let's finish Clay. Hey.
And Ramos, well, you can recognize, if you know the sport, you can recognize what Ramos is. And in some ways, what he's not. He's not a fiery guy. He's not a guy with tremendous confidence right now. And therefore, he's not a great finisher.
Don't lay on his neck. Come on.
You got to peek inside, guys. Have X-ray vision a little bit.
You're holding on the far side.
My mentor, Coach D'Amato, he used to say all the time to me that, it's not what's outside with the fight, it's what's inside. And by the way that they go about their business, you can see what's inside.
Don't hold on this side and hit, Jonathan. I saw that.
Coach was a believer in knowing something about a fighter's background before you got involved with him, Joe. So you could maybe have a better chance of
Get out of it.
understanding what they can and can't do in their career, what they can be led to, what they can't be led to. He'd like to know that maybe they had traumatic experiences in their childhood. Maybe those experiences made them more careful, too careful, more cautious, too cautious. Or maybe they had experiences where they had to deal with tremendous pressure, tremendous discipline, tremendous responsibility, and that could make them a candidate to be a tremendous fighter.
Stop! Break! Good sportsmanship, guys. Come on, good sportsmanship.
Final minute here, as Arellano has offered up very, very little in a fight where he's obviously trailing by wide margins.
Break clean. I don't mind you pivoting, but don't rotate around him. Less talking, more fighting.
As Ramos is content to just bring it home with a smile on his face.
Yeah, and Arellano really doesn't, at least not on my watch, on our watch, get away with saying, hey, why don't you fight? Because Arellano had plenty of opportunities to fight all night long.
Laying in if you want to box.
Ramos knows he's ahead now, and you can't blame him for playing it safe. Not at this stage.
Amazing how courageous it is when they hear the tap of a 10 count and the light is at the end of a tunnel, isn't it?
Exactly.
All of a sudden you'll punch then. We're going to take a short break. We'll hear from the judges. We will hear from Todd and Teddy with all the news and analysis and get set for the main event. Do not go anywhere. Stay with us. Fourth round, both knockdowns. First knockdown, second knockdown. So I can just tee Teddy up. Fifth round knockdown. Slow-mo. Yep, then what? So that's like sixth round, right? Brought it home. Teddy scored 98-90. We highlight the 2 rounds with the knockdowns, the multiple knockdowns in the 4th, the 1 single knockdown in the 5th. Facebook, you the viewer at home, 8 rounds to 2 does not account for what would be 10-8 or 10-7 rounds on Facebook. You see the percentage vote of Ramos over Arellano, 8 rounds to 2. Let's go up to the ring and get the decision for that, the very likable Barry Egan.
Shelton, how about a big round of applause for these two valiant warriors? To the scorecards we go. Judge Tim Wood scores the bout 98-88. Judges Hunter Walton and Alan Krebs score the bout 98-89 for the winner. By unanimous decision, Rico Suavecito Ramos.
Rico's now 23-3, the former belt holder, and Jonathan Arellano, the third loss of his career, he falls to 14-3-2. We've got an undefeated fighter coming up in our main event as Thomas Williams Jr., the light heavyweight.
He stayed quite active, fighting 14 times in the last 3 years. All 10 of his knockouts have come in that span, and his last 2 decisions have been over veterans against Otis Griffin and Yusuf Mack. He's trained by George Peterson, who guided Paul Williams to titles at welterweight and 154 pounds. And after Paul Williams' accident, he wants to be the man who gets Peterson back into elite level fights. And he feels he's about 3 fights away from a world title shot. And he wants Sergey Kovalev by the end.
Cornelius White, 6'2", an inch taller, checked in at 174.4, from Texas. Late to the game as a pro, turned pro at age 25, only 14 amateur fights. He has 5 wins between KO losses. He's knocked out by Don George, and then Kovalov just flattened him. And he's trained by the former U.S. gold medalist, former middleweight titleist, Frank Tate. And there's Thomas Williams. We've been talking plenty about the unbeaten southpaw. Natural righty, but his dad switched him up when he was younger, so he fights as a southpaw. His father was a former pro heavyweight, had 28 wins. He's been active, fought 5 times in 2011, 5 times in 2012, 4 times last year, and he's coming off his first scheduled 10-rounder. So let's get you set for White and Williams.
Gentlemen, you see your instructions in the dressing room, you know what I expect. A good, clean fight. This is the title. Let's fight with honor. Shake them up. 12 fans watching. Go Hawks.
Another mention of Seahawks support for this Super Bowl frenzied crowd here in Shelton, Washington, as the referee puts forth that common chorus you will hear throughout this area, Go Hawks.
You know,
But
White
I want a clean fight, gentlemen.
has 2 losses, both losses by knockout, so you wonder about the chin, and both those losses were early. First round, 3rd round, so vulnerability early for White. If Williams steps up the gas a little.
There's a left hand from the southpaw that scores a knockdown just 27 seconds into the fight.
7,
As you
8,
said.
walking me strong.
Again, very bad habit
In front, don't go around
the
back.
tall White has. Watch that left hand. You guys at home, he throws it, look at it, drops down to the hip, and then comes back up, just like we illustrated in the fight plan. Now, we see it.
Watch the belt lines, gentlemen. Watch the belt
Question
lines.
is, does Williams see it? If Williams sees it, oh, he's gonna knock out White. He's gonna step in with a right hook. Keep an eye, there again, keep an eye on that left hand. After he throws it,
Keep it clean. Don't hold
doesn't
the arm.
travel
Don't hold the
straight
arm.
back the way it's
Break,
supposed to
break.
for a defensive cover.
Like that.
Drops down, leaves himself exposed. I question the chin, I said it very early, of White, but I don't question his heart. Plenty of grit, plenty of moxie.
Left, short, straight left that time.
Yeah, there's that chin. There's that chin. Oh,
And he scores a knockdown of his own!
There's the power that he does have, that we talked about. He has that power, and he showed it.
2 minutes into the fight, and each man has been down.
He's gutsy, he survived getting hurt, and he has the power. Why does he have the power? Well, look at his body. He's wiry, he's tall, and he's got himself hurt again. Rock'em sock'em robots. But again, Williams does have the
And
power,
he
but
goes down
gets
for a
caught again.
second time. How about this first round? He's flopping like a fish.
7.
Wobbly legs. Will they let it go?
Walking you strong. Walking you strong. Walking you strong.
25 seconds to survive.
Yeah, that's an eternity, that 25 seconds, when you're in this kind of shape.
Show me something. Show me something.
He doesn't look good. 15 seconds. Bent legs.
That's it.
And it's over. TKO victory. Thomas Williams Jr.
Stay right. Just stay right here. Stay right here. Stay right here. Let the doctor.
Said there was vulnerability on White's side early. Also said White had some power. He's a tall,
He's got it right
wiry
here.
guy.
We want you to
Wiry
sit down.
guys get leverage. He showed that power. But his chin was overcome by the power of Williams.
Wasn't that fun, folks? 2 knockdowns scored by Williams, sandwiching the knockdown scored by White. And then Williams came in, as did referee Bobby Howard, to call the fight as Williams stays unbeaten. Teddy, we're going to give you plenty of time to take us through everything. Let's go back and show you the first knockdown.
You see a little bit off balance with his legs there. Left hand, straight left hand. Here's the second knockdown.
I almost stopped it the
Actually,
first time.
this is the knockdown where
told him to
Williams
show me
gets
something.
dropped coming in. Got a little careless, got a little fat with his punches, and he got caught on the chin. And here's the last knockdown. Well, I shouldn't say knockdown. This is a stoppage on his feet. We didn't show you the other knockdown, but that was the stoppage on his feet when the referee had seen enough. White had been on the floor twice.
Bobby Howard told Cornelius White in that final half minute, show me something. Let's go back and show you the third knockdown of the round, the second by Williams. This is after he was floored. Another look
Take
at
another
the second
look, a little
knockdown
better
scored by
look
Williams.
now, a little closer. On top of the head, the right hook, clipping him on top of the head. Williams catch it. Again, the power in the right hand, the right hook for the southpaw. Hard punch to see for an orthodox fighter. A punch we thought that White would be vulnerable to. But White, again, his lack of technique. He doesn't have many amateur fights, only 14 amateur fights. Williams, 62 amateur fights. You see White falling in there, flailing a little bit, and left himself open.
Let's go up to Barry for the official particulars.
Shelton, you have just seen the front runner for round of the year. Referee Bobby Howard stepped in to stop the bout. 2 minutes and 49 seconds into round number 1 for the winner by TKO and new NABO light heavyweight champion, Thomas Top Dog Williams.
Now you heard him say early candidate for round of the year. Here's what we're going to do, folks. Keep it real simple for you. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will replay that wildly entertaining first round between Williams and White. Call your friends, tell them to tune in. You'll see it in full length when